G'day. I'd like to introduce Adopt a Container. Adopt a Container is a community project put on in Yarra Glen from some of the volunteers from the Yarra Glen Community Fire Relief who operated there immediately after the Black Saturday fires of 2009. Whilst at the fire relief we asked survivors for things that would help them, and one of the most common things was the need for a shipping container. Those shipping containers were to stake propriety over people's blocks, allow them a place to work from whilst they started the clearing up and rebuilding, and most importantly to be able to store the things that they were getting in material aid, be it from fire reliefs, councils and government and those sort of things. Luckily we had quite a lot of philanthropic groups and service groups come in and see us at the fire relief. And one of those very large philanthropic groups offered to set up Adopt a Container, fund it and get it going for people so that they could have those shipping containers that we thought were a great idea. They asked us to take registrations and we quite rightly did so. We got to about 360 names on the list and thought we'd better stop taking names and start thinking about getting the project up and running. We started asking this philanthropic group for assistance to get the thing going, and after 4 or 5 months we found that they'd left us in a hole. I rang them up one afternoon and asked them what the hell was going on, and basically they were very apologetic, but they'd actually decided that they'd dumped that project and moved on to something else in the bush, I don't know where, but they felt very comfortable that their new project was most worthwhile, and it basically left 360 people very pissed off at the Yarra Glen Community Fire. So I guess from a negative thing, which was not having the shipping containers arrive and having false promises given to us, our little group of 4 or 5 people got together and we got Adopt a Container going. We got some good donations. The biggest one was from the Bendigo Bank, who helped us out with 100 grand. Salvation Army gave us 10 grand. Various other individuals and companies have given us a few $1,000s, and on top of that we very recently just got $20,000 off Vibra. With that in mind, we've been able to supply a lot of shipping containers, and that project is now coming to an end. We're trying to get a lot of those containers back, but we've got a couple of problems, and the biggest problem is that there are still a lot of people that are in a really hard place, and it's very hard for us as a volunteer group. We don't make any money out of it, we don't charge anything, we don't even get our phone money back, and I won't get any money back for anything I've ever done. We don't expect it. But our little group is being asked by these people that are survivors to support more time with these rented containers. It's now just on 2 years, 730 odd days since the fires, and the shipping containers, some of them were out on a 12-month contract, or they should have all been out on a 12-month free rent contract. Some of them are now travelling 14 months, 15 months. Just on the issue of people needing shipping containers, it was brought to my attention by a mate of mine who made a fairly substantial donation to Red Cross early after the bushfires in 2009, and he wasn't in a position to do it, mind you. His heart fell through the floor when he saw how much damage was around. So he sent a donation off, and on the premise that that money was going to help people directly. 2 years down the track, he's asking me how come our little group doesn't have any money to continue their work, and the reality is that those monies that were donated didn't directly go where a lot of people thought they would have gone, and a lot of people were underinsured, and despite what media tell you, and I've listened to a whole pile of beat up crap about how there weren't very many people that were not insured at all, I'd have to ask the question, why is it sitting here in Yarra Glen that I can put my hand in the list here and pull out half a dozen names within 10 kilometres of Yarra Glen? That's only in the radius of say 5 to 10 k's of Yarra Glen. Then we get into Kinglake, Flowerdale, Strathewen, Glenburn, Tagaty, up in the Triangle, Marysville, Buxton, all up through there, and then further afield down Lancefield, up north towards Bendigo. You got to ask yourself just how many people were not insured at all. Now, there's 2 trains of thought with that. One train of thought is surely the money donated by the public, a lot of that would have gone to help those people who are uninsured and needed a big hand. Or the second comment that I have heard, which really pisses me off, is where people go, "Oh, stuff them. It's their own fault for being not insured or underinsured." It's a fairly simplistic way around it. There's a variety of reasons why people don't have insurance. None of them are reasons that are right or wrong. It's just a matter of fact. And if we're not prepared to put our two bobs worth in and give people a hand whether they're insured or not, it's a fairly low act by most of us. A lady rang me 3 days ago looking for shipping containers. She's only just starting to get her insurance money through. She still hasn't got the money in the bank, but at 730 days after the fire, she's just getting her money. Now you put yourself in her shoes. If you had been burnt out 2 years ago and you were being pissed around by insurance company and bureaucracy, you'd be absolutely crestfallen as well. And this woman was no different to that. She was really pissed off. And it's got me buggered how media hasn't picked up on this. So that's some information about Adopt a Container. At the end of the day, our project still needs some funds, and we dearly like to keep helping people, be they in the bushfire areas or potentially helping some of the flood victims. But we do need some money, and if you can see a way fit to give us a hand with a few dollars, it doesn't matter how large or small that donation is, it would be an enormous help. Donations can be made at any Bendigo Bank branch around Australia. It doesn't matter what state it's in, any Bendigo Bank will take the donation, and the donation could be made out to Adopt a Container. So just remember, Adopt a Container at any Bendigo Bank branch and you'll be sweet. All donations over $2 are tax deductible, so that will also help if you're in a position to make a reasonable donation and you've got a little bit of tax liability you'd like to dispose of. It can definitely help you with that. Thanks very much for viewing our video.